What's going on, guys? Jesse here with cardlines.com, and recently I've been going through our most popular articles of all time and unpacking them a little bit more with some extra annotations, visuals, and the different stuff that you can't necessarily get on the page all the time. So that's exactly what we're doing here with the Cardlines Ultimate Refractor Guide. We're going to start by looking at what is a refractor. So refractors, here's your brief history lesson. Refractors were trademarked as an idea and a term by Topps when they invented a way to add refractive technology to their Optichrome cards and make them so that they have a rainbow refraction when they shine in the light. Panini came along later, and of course we all think of refractors and prisms in the same ballpark, so Panini said, well, we can't call them refractors, so what do? So they put all their heads together and came up with, the logic, and it makes sense, that when you shine the light on them, it has a prismatic colorway, so they call them prisms. When we talk about prisms and when we talk about refractors, we're going to call those both refer to basically the same thing, just two different brands. Panini makes prisms, Topps makes refractors, and for the sake of this video, we're probably going to call them a little bit of both. Here is in this picture, this is the 2018-19 Prizm set, a rainbow of Dwayne Wade. So as you can see here, top left, this is what the base card looks like, and a refractor or a prism is just taking the base card and adding a colored parallel border to the outside. So basically each one of these is significantly more rare than the base card. The color and the particular style, like this is a purple wave, this is a purple cracked ice, a purple circle or purple fast break. And the color and the different style indicates how rare they are, and many of these are going to be numbered on the back, meaning that they have a serial number showing what the print run is. Those of course are going to be the most valuable. Panini, when they started their Prizms, they wanted to make things extra confusing, and they succeeded. Mission complete. The Panini refractors in Prizm are called prisms. So you can pull a prism. In Select, they're called prisms. You can get a Select prism. In Mosaic, another Optichrome product, they're also called prisms. So you can get a Mosaic prism. Any of their Optichrome products have prism inserts or parallels. And they've even started adding prism parallels to some of their non-Optichrome products. And then, here's the exception, just to really break your brain. In Optic, the prisms are called hollows for some reason. It's because they're holographic, like that's where the name comes from. But for some reason, they call the Optic prisms hollows. So you'll see that a lot. And if you see that on eBay as a search term, they're just referring to an Optic prism. So this one is an Optic hollow prism. So just chew on that. Why do refractors matter? That's a big question. We hear it a lot. And basically it comes down to supply and demand. This, I will let you pause the video and read it if you want to. This is an excerpt from the article basically saying that, if I'm opening a box of Prizm, I'm going to get 144 cards. Typically, you get 12 packs of 12 cards each. You only get 1 or 2, maybe 3 silvers per hobby box. So they are exceptionally rare, at least compared to the other cards, the base cards. And so are the colored cards. There's usually, 8 to 12 colored prisms in a box of Prizm. So when there's 130 of the base cards compared to a handful of the Prizm silvers and the Prizm colors, then of course there's just going to be less of them, and the supply and demand makes the limited supply significantly more valuable. I'm going to open up the PSA population report for 2020 Panini Prizm football as an example. I searched for Joe Burrow, and there are, according to this, 5,429 PSA 10 Joe Burrow rookies. If you look for the silvers, which are down here at the bottom, there's a lot of them. If you look for the silver Joe Burrow prisms, there's 195. So I'm not a mathematical scholar, but 195 is like about 30 times less than 5,400. So since there's 30 times more base, the silver prisms are going to be significantly more valuable. When you're investing in cards, keep that in mind. I try to talk my friends out of buying base as much as I can. Going back to the presentation to answer a question that I get a lot in emails, particularly from new collectors, and that's how to recognize refractors or Prizm cards. So one thing you always need is a really bright light, because if you get the bright light on it, it is unmistakably different. When you're looking at pictures on eBay, particularly lifestyle pictures, meaning not scans, pictures people snap of the card, sometimes it's hard to tell. Here on the left you have just the normal Justin Herbert base rookie. This one is a silver Prizm. Of course, up here it says on the PSA case, completely disregard that for the sake of this illustration. You can see if you look close that this one has the rainbow refraction, the light here, over here. This one won't, and it never will. When you occasionally, if you'll see a picture on eBay of somebody who has like, you know, like a Till phone case and he gets real close and takes a picture of this Justin Herbert rookie, since the card's reflective basically, it's silver, mirror-like, reflective, it'll show a phone case or whatnot. So occasionally you'll see a picture where it kind of looks like it's a Prizm and you'll say, is it? And if that's the case and there's any shadow of a doubt, just ask. It never hurts to ask and say, hey, is this a silver Prizm or a colored Prizm insert, or is this just a base card? They'll have to tell you one way or the other. That's kind of how the integrity of card collecting works. If the cards are scanned, the difference is very obvious. These two, if I held them in my hand, they'd look very close if I had them in, you know, just a normal lit room. But if you scan them, this is the base, and it appears almost dark. It's like this dark, steely color. This one is bright silver. So the silver Prizms, when they're scanned, they almost glow. They have this really radiant silver look. So if cards are scanned, just remember that. And then the biggest tell, if you can see the back of the card, Panini always puts Prizm on the back of their card, and Topps does the same thing with the word refractor. So if you look close enough right here, it says Prizm. I made it bigger, give you guys a look. That is the easiest way to tell that the card is in fact a Prizm. Lastly, big question, why does it matter? What's the difference in value? I say, you know, there's a less supply, so more value, but how do you quantify that? I actually did try to do exactly that and quantify the value when I wrote this article. And obviously it's been 18 months, but the numbers, the ratios still hold true. Well, the numbers might have moved some. So what I did was look up a PSA 10 Zion Williamson rookie, and for the Prizm product, tried to eBay price comp different colors in different parallels. The base sold for $160. All of these are PSA 10s, as I mentioned. So the base was selling for $160 and the silver was selling for $1,300. So it's almost 10 times as much as the base, which obviously showcases the difference in demand. So with that in mind, one thing that's pretty interesting here is that the Ruby Wave, Orange, and Orange Ice are about equally as rare as the silver, but the silver significantly outsold them. What that shows is that there's just collective preferential treatment of the silvers from collectors. Everybody likes the silvers. They're the universal, like, iconic rookie card that comes out every year. So while Ruby Wave and Orange Ice I would never turn down, the silver ones are equally rare and significantly more valuable. So if you're opening a box, you should hope for the silvers and compare it. The Purple Wave is a shorter print, so they're more rare than the silver. They're only found in blasters, and they sell for about the same amount. So again, more rare, equally valuable. And then when you get to the numbered ones, that's when the cash really starts stacking up. The blue numbered to $199, sold for $9,200. And then this neon green was listed. It was numbered to 5 at the time. Oh, it's still numbered 5. But at the time, it was listed for $54,000. It did not have a recent sell, but it had over 30 watchers. And usually what that indicates is that something is going to sell. Probably was not going to sell for $54,000, but if it sold for half of that, that's still a $27,000 payday for the seller. It's a pretty good day. So that is a look at how the value stacks up. And what are the takeaways here? Basically, it's this. If you're looking to invest long term, there are a lot of base cards out there. Like I said, I try to talk everybody out of buying base. Even if it's PSA 10, don't necessarily want it. Panini has really been cranking up the print runs, and there are a lot of base cards graded anywhere from 9 to 10 that a lot of people are holding to stash for long term. I don't think that's the move. I think even in the graded condition, here 10 years from now, looking back, we're going to say, you know, the market was saturated. These are not worth nearly as much as we thought they would be because there are so many of them. What it means is if you're looking for a long-term hold that is going to keep its value, you need to look at the Prizms, the colors, the refractors. That's where the money is. That's where the long-term holds are going to be. And I think this gap is going to progressively widen as time passes, and as this 2020 hindsight view looks back on the state of cards from 2019 to 2022, sees the discrepancy in the print run and the population reports, and then says, you know what, those Prizms are significantly more valuable, so buy Prizms, buy refractors, and thank us later.